Level 1. Invisible Wealth. Imagine you are only 6 years old, but you already know all the special hidden rules. You live in a house that is so big, it feels more like a giant castle than a cozy home. Your family owns the whole huge building. There are nice people there who cook your food and clean up the rooms. You know their names, but you are not allowed to be their real best friends. When you want to play with other kids, you never have them come over to your house. You always have to go to their houses instead. In your family, nobody ever talks about money at all. It is not because you are poor. It is because talking about money makes people think you might be afraid of running out of it one day. When you go to school, none of the parents have jobs like doctors or teachers. No one even knows what the moms and dads do while the kids are at school. That is the first big thing you learn. Having everything in the world is just normal for you, but you must keep it a secret from everyone else. You are always told to stand up very straight and act like a perfect little person. You have to do this because your last name is very famous, and you have to make sure you never get it messy. Level 2. The Social Code of Old Money. Nobody ever explains to you why your last name is such a big deal, or how heavy and hard it will feel to carry that name around as you grow up. When you get older, you go away to a very fancy college, but it is not really about reading books or learning new things. Every student there already knows exactly what they are going to do with their lives when they get older. You are just there to sit in the classroom with the other kids who are just like you. You study very big and serious topics, like rules and history, just so you can look like a good and smart person to everyone else. The most important part of school is learning about all the other families. You have to figure out which kids come from the biggest and most famous families in the whole world. One day, you meet a boy who actually had to work very hard to buy his own toys. He is incredibly smart, and he works all day long. Deep down in your heart, you just feel very sad for him. You feel sad because he is trying so hard to build a giant castle, but you were just given your castle for free without trying at all. That feeling makes you feel very strange and weird inside. You finally learn the biggest secret rule of all. People who have always lived in castles stay very quiet about it. You wear very nice, pretty clothes, but they don't have any loud pictures or bright logos on them. People who just got brand new toys like to yell and show them off, but you just stay very quiet. One time, a person thinks you are just a normal kid because you dress so plain and hide your big family secret. At first, you feel so happy and safe just being a regular kid, but then you feel a little bit bad for wanting to hide who you really are. Level 3. The Architecture of Legacy. One day, you get a special letter from people you don't even know who live in a town far, far away. The letter is about a giant hidden piggy bank that you always kind of knew was tucked away somewhere secret. Now, you have to go and sit at a big table with serious men wearing fancy suits. These men finally open up a map that shows you every single thing your family owns in the whole world. It turns out there are giant houses sitting in many different countries across the ocean. They tell you that your grandpa locked all the money inside a special magic box a very, very long time ago. These men say you can have a little bit of money for toys every month, but you are never, ever allowed to hold the key to the box yourself. You aren't really the boss of the toys, you are just the lucky kid who is allowed to play with them for a while. This makes you feel like you are totally trapped in a cage. Strangers are standing there guarding all the gold, and they have been doing that job since long before you were even a tiny baby. You can take the money to buy things, but you never get to make any of the important rules. You ask one of the men in the suits what would happen if you wanted to sell one of those houses in a faraway land. He is very nice, but he tells you that you just can't do that. He explains that you would have to ask every single person in your family to have a big vote first. This is all because of a super strict rule your great-grandma made a long time ago. That is when you finally understand the truth. This giant pile of gold is supposed to be yours, but it feels more like a heavy metal chain around your neck. It is the most stuck and least free you will ever feel in your entire life. Level 4. The Discipline of Wealth Preservation. One day, you get to sit in a chair and watch the very important grown-ups have a big meeting about all the family treasure. You have to stay very quiet, and you aren't allowed to say a single word. You just have to watch everything. Your dad is sitting right at the top of the giant table, and he is acting like a huge, powerful boss you have never seen before in your life. All these people are guarding mountains and mountains of shiny gold. They own huge buildings and old secret businesses that just sit there quietly, making more and more gold even while everyone else in the world is fast asleep. You finally understand that your job in this family is not to go out and build a brand new castle of your own. Your only job is to make sure that the castle you already have never ever falls down or breaks. Remember that boy who had to work to get his own toys from the store? He can take big chances and be brave, because if he breaks his toys, he already knows how to work hard and build them all over again. But you are not allowed to break your toys at all. If you lose the family castle, you aren't just starting over from the beginning. You are letting down your great-grandpa and every single person who will be born into your family after you are gone. You start to hear very heavy words that sound like they belong to a superhero, like protector and forever family. These words are supposed to sound very brave and strong, but they actually just make your tummy feel like it is tied in knots from all the stress. One time, a cousin accidentally lost a big chunk of the family gold. Suddenly, he was never invited to come over for holiday dinners ever again. Nobody even said his name out loud anymore. They didn't have to say anything at all. You learned the scary rule just by watching what happened to him. Level 5. Family Governance. You sit down at a very huge table with the people who make all the family rules. There are only 7 of you in the whole room, and almost everyone else is a grandpa or a grandma. The rules that you decide on in this small room are meant to last forever and ever. You meet together 3 times every year for a whole entire day to talk. You talk about how the pile of gold is getting bigger, how to give some of it away to others, and the hardest part of all, what to do with the younger kids in the family. Your job is not to actually touch the gold, but to make sure every person follows the strict rules about the gold. One younger kid wants to take some gold so he can build his very own toy store. But the magic box says he has to wait for everyone to have a big vote first. A cousin says she wants to take her chunk of the gold, leave the castle forever, and be totally free from all the heavy rules. Everyone talks in a very nice way, but the castle walls are too strong and won't let her leave. The family doesn't feel like it is about love anymore. It just feels like one giant, boring rule book. Even sharing your toys with other kids who really need them is not done because you are being kind. The family gives away giant piles of gold every single year just to make the family look like very good people and to keep the main pile of treasure safe. You vote no to the cousin who wants to leave and be free. Most of the other people vote no too. Because of that, she never comes to the fun holiday parties ever again. You do not feel sad or sorry for her at all. You feel something that is much colder and different. You just feel like you did exactly what the rulebook told you to do. Level 6. Institutionalization and quiet power. Now your very own name is written in giant shiny letters on the side of a huge building. You didn't even ask for them to put it there. The rule makers just decided to do it during a long, boring meeting that you don't even remember being at. Your family isn't like a normal family that gives big hugs and plays games together anymore. Instead, it is like a giant, cold machine with very strict rule books. It has special plans for who will be the next boss and secret instructions that tell you exactly what you are allowed to say to people who aren't in the family. But people on the outside almost never ask you any questions anyway. You made sure that they stay far away and keep quiet. You spend a lot of your time sitting in meetings to help run big schools that have your family name on them. When very important leaders in the world need a whole bunch of gold to win their races, secret helpers make phone calls for you. You never have to talk to those leaders yourself. You just picked one special helper that you trust a really long time ago, and now they do all the hard work in the background without you ever having to lift a single finger. The story of how your family got all that treasure in the first place is now told like a fancy fairy tale. There are thick books and pretty websites that only tell the shiny, happy version of how your great-grandpa found the gold. They use very big words to make him sound like a brave hero who never did anything wrong. One day, a person who writes for the news asks if your great-grandpa actually did some really mean or bad things to get the gold a long time ago. Right away, the men in suits and the rule guardians jump in and make the whole problem go away completely. You don't have to talk to the writer or sign any papers. The helpers just tell you later on that everything is fixed. That is when you finally realize you aren't really guarding a pile of gold anymore. You are just protecting a giant fairy tale that isn't even real. Level 7. The perpetuity of the dynasty. The giant family machine and the secret magic boxes will keep running and humming along long after you are gone. Your family name is now just like a sticker that people put on big hospitals and giant schools. The name has become its own big scary monster now, and it is totally separate from who you really are on the inside. Now, your only job is to sit and watch the new little kids, just like your grandpa used to sit and watch you. You are looking very closely for the one child who is strong enough to carry the super heavy family backpack without falling down. You need to find someone who won't get squished by the weight of the big family name. Some kids are just not strong enough to do it. Nobody ever says this out loud to anyone else, but every person in the room completely knows it is the truth. You know deep, dark family secrets that are never written down in any of the pretty fairy tale books. You know that to keep the treasure safe for a long time, people had to make very cold choices that really hurt others. You even made some of those cold choices yourself because the family rules said it was the right thing to do. But those choices still make your heart feel very heavy today. You have to hold on to all that sadness all by yourself. The gold will not go away when you are gone. That is the whole point of everything. It has always been the whole point, from the very start. Somewhere far away, a young kid is working very hard at a computer for the first time. He thinks the game is just about collecting shiny coins. He thinks if he works super hard, he can build the exact same giant castle you were just given for free. But he does not know the big secret yet. The super safe, magical walls he wants to build took your family 4 whole lifetimes to make completely unbreakable. He is trying to build a tall ladder to climb all the way up to the high, fluffy cloud you were born sleeping on. Being born way up on that cloud was the whole trick. You can't just climb a ladder to get inside a place like that.